For this lesson, you need to open the sample file Widget Supplies Price List from your Sample Files folder. A very interesting and little-known feature of Excel is its ability to group worksheets into a three-dimensional array of worksheet cells. When worksheets are grouped, it's possible to perform a single operation upon all of the worksheets in the group. This can be very useful when you need to print out all of the worksheets in the group, or enter data into the same cell for all worksheets in the group, or to apply formatting to the same cell or range for all worksheets in the group. You can see that this workbook consists of three similar worksheets, one showing the prices of widgets, one showing the prices of grommets, and one showing the prices of sprockets. None of the worksheets have been formatted or have any style, so we're going to use the magic of grouping to format all three worksheets at the same time. To do this, I need to create a worksheet group, and to create a worksheet group, I need to select all of the worksheet tabs in the group. So let's do that now. I'll click on the Widgets Worksheet tab, hold down the Control key on the keyboard, click on the Grommets Worksheet tab, and with Control still held down, click on the Sprockets Worksheet tab. Now that worked well for 3 worksheets, but if you had a large number of worksheets, you might want to use this technique instead. I'll click on the first worksheet in the group, that's the Widgets worksheet, then hold down the Shift key on the keyboard, and click on the last worksheet in the worksheet group, that's the Sprockets worksheet. And you can see that all worksheet tabs in between widgets and sprockets, in this case just one, are also selected. So you can see that all 3 worksheets are selected because their colour has changed to white. But notice that something else has also happened. If you look at the title bar at the top of the screen, you'll see that it now says Widget Supplies Price List brackets Group. This tells you that you're now working with a worksheet group. But we have a little problem, because when you group every worksheet in a workbook, as we have done here, you can't switch between worksheets and still keep the group selected. As soon as you click a selected sheet, the other 2 are deselected. I'll click on the Grommets Worksheet tab now, and you can see that the Widgets and Sprockets tabs are immediately deselected. To work around this, we'll have to insert a new blank worksheet. The sheet's only purpose is to allow you to switch between sheets in the selected group, because the selected group of widgets, grommets and sprockets will no longer be every worksheet in this workbook. So I'll click the New Sheet button. I'll then double-click on the Sheet 1 text and type Dummy, just to remind me that the only purpose of this worksheet is to allow me to select the worksheet group Widgets, Grommets and Sprockets. I think I'll also move the dummy worksheet to the right, so I click on the Worksheet tab, drag across to the right until I see the black arrow pointing to the right of the Sprockets Worksheet tab and release the mouse button. Now I'll select the worksheet group again, so I'll click on the Widgets Worksheet tab, hold down the Shift key on the keyboard and click on the Sprockets Worksheet tab. And because I've added that extra dummy tab, you can see I can now click on Grommets to show the Grommets worksheet, or Sprockets to show the Sprockets worksheet, without deselecting the worksheet group. Now I'm going to format the Sprockets worksheet to make it look attractive. And remember that any formatting I apply to the Sprockets worksheet will also be applied to the Widgets and Grommets worksheets. Well, let's take a look at this worksheet and see how we can improve it. First of all, I don't like the financial values shown in cells B9 to E11. They'd look a lot nicer with 2 decimal places and a 1000 separator. So I'll apply the comma style. You learnt how to do this in lesson 4.3. I select cells B9 to E11, then Home tab on the ribbon, and in the number group, the comma style. and you can see that the value in cell E11 now has a comma separator after the thousands, and all values have 2 decimal places. The next thing I'd like to do is adjust the column widths of column A to E so that the width is a perfect fit for the contents of each cell. You learnt how to do this in lesson 2.9, so I'll select cells A8 to E11 and then click Home tab on the ribbon, Cells Group, Format, and Auto Fit Column Width. Now I'm going to apply some styles to this worksheet. The text price list shown in cell A1 is the title of the worksheet, so I think I'll apply the title style to it using the skills you learned in lesson 4.9. So I'll click on cell A1, Home tab on the ribbon, Styles Group, Cell Styles to bring up the Cell Styles gallery, and then I'll click on the title style. I think that the values in cell A2, A6 and A9 to A11 could also benefit from a style. So I'll select cell A2, hold down Control key on the keyboard, A6 and then A9 to A11, still with the Control key held down. And this time I'll bring up the Cell Styles gallery and apply the Heading 4 cell style. Next, I'd like to apply a style to the column headers. And by the column headers, I mean cells B5 to E5 and A8 to E8. So I'll select cells B5 to E5, hold down the Control key on the keyboard and select cells A8 to E8. I'll bring up the Cell Styles gallery again, and this time I'll apply the Heading 3 style. Well, the worksheet's looking good already. I think the last thing I'd like to do is to adjust the vertical spacing of each of the elements. So I'll make row 2 a little higher to add a little space. I think I'll make row 4 a little narrower, and I'll also increase the height of row 3 just to add a little spacing between the 2 lines of text. I'm quite pleased now with the appearance of the Sprockets worksheet. Let's now look at what's happened to the Grommets and Widgets worksheets, the other 2 worksheets in this worksheet group. So I click on the Grommets worksheet tab, and all of the formatting I applied to the Sprockets worksheet has also been applied to the Grommets worksheet. Now I'll click on the Widgets worksheet tab, and you can see that the same things happened. Now let's look at something else you can do with worksheet groups. That is, enter data into the same cell for all worksheets in the group. You can see that each of these price lists shows the price in 4 different currencies, and the exchange rates are shown in cells B6 to E6. Exchange rates fluctuate on a daily basis, so they'll need to be updated very often. I'm going to update the US dollar to Great Britain pound exchange rate shown in cell C6 to 1.59. So I'll click in cell C6 and type 1.59. When I press the Enter key, I'll expect the pounds values shown in cells C9 to C11 to update. I'll press the Enter key now, and you can see that that did happen. So the Widgets price list is now up to date. Let's look now at the Grommets price list. So I'll click on the Grommets worksheet tab, and you can see that this has also updated to 1.59, and cells C9 to C11 have also updated. Let's now look at the Sprockets worksheet, and you can see the same things happened. The US dollar Great Britain pound exchange rate has changed, and this has caused the 3 prices in pounds to also update. So I'm sure you can appreciate now what a huge time saver worksheet groups can be when you need to format or update similar worksheets. All that remains for this lesson is to save your work, and I'm going to save with the new name Widget Supplies Price List 1, and as usual I'll save to the folder above my sample files folder. I click the Save button, and you've now completed lesson 6.7, Understand Worksheet Groups.